Welcome everyone! Check out the noise my microwave started to make. Not good. So if you want to learn how to save some money and DIY install your microwave, let's go. So this old microwave's a Kenmore. Of course, I bought it at Sears 21 years ago. We moved in this house in 2004. The only trouble it ever gave me was this handle fell off a couple times, and I had to use Gorilla Glue to put it back together. And then this cracked one time. You can see the split here, and I used expandable foam in here, and that's what glued this piece back on. But this old beast has served us well. I'm gonna be sad to see it go. Let me show you what I got. I ordered this GE Profile black stainless steel with sensor cooking because it was $411 off. Now my kitchen has regular stainless steel appliances, so I knew I was taking a chance how this was gonna look. Stainless steel one was on sale too, but still more than what I paid for the black stainless steel one. And when I originally put my order in, it was a lot more. So let me know how this mismatch looks once you see it installed at the end. Okay, I start by clearing and prepping the area. I use a piece of cardboard to cover the oven, and then I put a piece of plywood that I use as a base on a pallet to hold the Christmas tree off the ground, just in case I drop the old microwave on the stove. And then I use some clamps to hold the cardboard to the stove so it doesn't come slipping off. Now the next step, which is really important, you need to support the bottom of the microwave with something as your second pair of hands if you're working by yourself. Now I'm up on my step stool, and inside the cabinet you're going to find the two bolts that are holding the microwave. Now, of course it has a bracket in the back, you'll see that later. So I need to unplug it, and I'm probably going to cut this plug right here so that when I go to pull it through, it doesn't get hung up. So I take my diagonal cutting pliers and I cut close to the base of the cabinet. All that's left is to unscrew the two bolts that hold the microwave to the cabinet. Now watch when I unscrew the second bolt. The microwave drops right on the support I put under it. Now with one hand, I push the microwave toward the wall as I use my second hand to remove my under the microwave support. And then I lift the microwave off the black mounting plate and set it on my portable work table I had ready. Yay! Did you ever hear the expression, they don't make them like they used to? Now check out this bracket, it's cool. It just has a center line. You just measure between the cabinets, you hit your center line, and then the bracket actually just hits against the cabinet, and you don't need any templates. All right, let's take off the old bracket. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. Now these mounting brackets or plates are held mostly by toggle bolts. The trick to remove them is, you need to pull on the bolt head as you unscrew it out. You see me doing it here with a small pry bar. You could also use a flathead screwdriver. This middle screw was supposedly going into a stud, but I'll show you later it wasn't. If you don't pull back on the bolt head, the wing that has the nut on it will just keep spinning. So by pulling behind the bolt head, it presses the wing against the drywall, allowing you to unscrew the bolt, and it'll just drop into the wall. They're not reusable. The plate was sticking to the wall because of the paint, and I just pull it off. Now next, I'm going to take you on a little ride and show you how I save $50 from not having to pay the haul-away fee. We're going to go throw out the microwave at my local waste collection center. I call it taking it to the dumps. Now for a small microwave like this, I highly recommend you properly disposing it this way. It's really easy to do. Now my dump is in the general area where I work, so even though I loaded the microwave in the trunk after the removal, this was filmed the next day after work, not to have to make a special trip. You just need to print out your tax bill and bring your driver's license with your address. I'm always surprised how many people don't know you can do this. Now for something as big as a refrigerator, because I don't have a truck, I just go ahead and pay the haul-away fee. But there's no way I'm paying anything extra for something this easy to dispose. With a final push, I just saved $50. Okay, time to unbox, then install the new microwave. Home Depot delivered it for free. So there's directions on the box how to open it. They want you to cut this tape, open up the flaps, and then when you go around the whole box, there's a cut line. It's down here, and they want you to cut along that line and then lift up the top of the box to unbox it. Okay, let's see how it looks. The reason why I show you all the steps in my videos is because if you're hesitant to try any DIY project, I just believe once you see it play through, it just gives you the understanding what it would take, so you can make the determination whether you're ready to try it, and hopefully the confidence. Let me show you quickly what came in the box. There's the mounting plate, turntable ring and glass plate, the bracket to attach ducting, cover plates, and the grease filters. And this is the upper cabinet template we will use to mark the holes we need to drill in the top cabinet for the self-aligning screws and the power cord. And this is the rear wall template that we will use to mark the holes needed for the mounting plate. I'll show you how to cut these templates to size. And of course, there's the installation instructions and some general information you definitely want to read completely through. Okay, let's get the mounting plate installed and the top cabinet holes drilled out. I didn't need the plywood anymore, so I removed it. And because I was going to be leaning against the oven, I removed the knob so I don't light a burner unintentionally. And then I put a moving blanket on top so there's still protection for my oven, and I don't scratch the new microwave when I'm ready to put it there, readying it for mounting. I use my trigger clamps to hold the blanket from slipping off. Okay, let's start going through the installation instructions. Again, make sure you go through all this information and read everything. I'm going to be just focusing on the main install of the microwave, but the instructions have all the info to consider if you will be venting the exhaust. It has the parts included list, tools you will need, and mounting space needed to ensure the microwave will fit. Now 1A is the unboxing, which we did already, so next is 1B, finding and marking the wall studs. Now check this out, I put my straight pick in the hole the screw came out of, and I feel nothing. If I angle the pick to the right, I feel a stud. The original installers missed it by ½ inch. We won't miss it. I use my magnetic stud finder to find a drywall screw. Let me show you how I use my laser to draw a line.
You know, I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
Sorry, if I say the word laser, I think of that scene. I position mine on a ladder and shoot a laser line, lining it up with the magnet. Next, I use a ruler to draw a pencil line. It's really important that at least one screw hits a stud to transfer the weight of the microwave through it. So I draw my line, I write an S next to it, signifying this line is the middle of a stud. Next, I want you to determine your mounting plate location under your cabinet. They're showing 3 different kind of cabinet bottoms. This one has a flat bottom, and you can see it's completely flat under here. So you would put your template right against the back of the wall, against your cabinet flat bottom. This is like mine, where there's like a frame that goes around it. And that's called a recessed cabin bottom, because it's recessed. But again, you would put your template right against that back frame right there. And then there's one that's called a front overhang, and you can see it right here that the front overhangs. So you have to make up the difference. So you have to measure down before you put your template the same distance that that overhang is. But mine is gonna be this one here, so we're just gonna put the template centered and then right against the back frame of this recessed bottom. So next they want you to mark the mounting holes by placing the template, but we need to prep it first. So I'm gonna do it right here on this table because it's too hot in the garage here in Florida. Luckily I didn't put my plywood away yet, and we'll use it to cut on. I'm going to show you how to cut the templates. The easiest way I know to cut a piece of paper like this is clamping it down with a metal edge and using a utility knife to make one continuous cut. There's a dotted line around the whole template you're supposed to cut. The clamps do a good job keeping the ends lined up, but I found that I need a pull in the middle of the paper to keep the middle lined up. So I give the middle of the paper a pull and line up the dotted lines with the metal ruler, hold it in place with my left hand, and cut with my right hand. Here's a shot how it came out. So I don't think I need to trim these edges of the template because it does fit between my cabinets. I also think I don't need to waste time trimming this bottom piece because my plan is we're gonna go over there and we're gonna do the same thing like we did with the stud, and we're gonna mark the center line with a pencil, and then I'm gonna mark a little bit on the cabinet so I know where right to line up this mark, and then I'm gonna line this up with whatever we draw on the wall for the center line here, and then we're gonna draw a circle here to mark this hole, and draw a circle here to mark this hole, and then we're going to use the mounting plate to really refine our holes and mark our center line, and that's it. That's all I really need the template for, is to mark these 2 holes. But since it's going to fit between the cabinets, I don't need to waste time cutting this out. So what I want to do next is to cut these holes out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just fold the paper over, and I just use a single hole punch to make a nice circle cutout. And now that hole's cut out. And then I repeat that for the second hole. I fold the paper in the middle of the hole I want and punch out the hole. Pretty easy to do it this way. Now the cabinet does stick out a little bit here and here, and you want to make sure you have at least 30, which we do, so we know the microwave will fit. Now I don't have to worry about this lip to center, because whatever center between here and here is also going to be center between here and here. So I can just use the back wall to center this. So I'm going to touch just the bottom over here, and then look over here, and I'm getting exactly 30 3/4. So 30 3/4, if I start counting these lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If I split that in half, it's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 3/8. Half of 30 is 15. So I'm gonna measure from one cabinet 15 3/8, and I'm gonna measure back the other way 15 3/8, and see if I meet up in the same spot. So I marked the pencil line where 15 3/8 so I can find it easy. And if I take my measuring tape, and I go here, and I mark 15 3/8, And if I spin it around, put it there, it's literally off by a hair. So somewhere like right here, kind of in the middle of that dark dot is right there. It's 15 3/8. So I'm gonna split the difference here. That's what I'm calling the center line. I'm looking up here, and I don't know, I think those are just marks from when they drill the hole. But this does look like it's going right up the middle there. So now we gotta mark this one. So I just repeat what I just did for the top mark. Writing a pencil line on the ruler, marking my measurement, ensures I don't make a mistake. 15 3/8. When I flip it the other way, that time it matched up perfectly. I double check my measurement and it's good. I got my line here and here. I just gotta draw. I'm gonna put my laser and then draw a line. I first put a pencil mark where the laser is hitting the upper cabinet, and then just like when I marked the line for the stud, I match my ruler to the laser line and draw a line marking the center line so I can match the template to it. I double check how level the upper cabinet is. It's off by a hair, and then I use push pins to hang the template to the wall. I really wish this mounting plate was like the old one, making the template unnecessary. After pinning the second push pin, I check for level. It's off by hair just like the upper cabinet, but I know I can adjust the mounting plate during its install because the toggle bolts are not exact. You'll see what I mean then. So check this out, I went to go mark it. I'm hitting that other hole. It's like the bottom of that other hole. So I'm gonna have to move it over. Same thing over here. The hole's right there, it's kind of right above it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just punch out another hole right here. Okay, so I punch out that new left hole and then do the same for the right hole. Now I can mark my drill holes without it being over a previous drilled hole. So I mark the left and right holes, and here's a shot how the holes look marked. Now they do show an alternative how to mount your mounting plate on the next page where you use the actual mounting plate to mark these different holes. You stick it against the cabinet and then you mark the edge, and then where this lines up, you mark this line, and then you stick it against the other cabinet and you mark the edge and you mark this line, and you go through that whole process, and then the mounting plate lines up between all those marked lines. So that's an alternative that you can do if you don't have the template. Okay, next I want you to determine which way you're gonna have your ventilation. You can either have recirculating, you can have outside top exhaust, or out back exhaust if you're gonna go through like a back wall. Mine's gonna be this one. So what they're explaining here, you gotta choose A, B, or C. So I'm gonna choose A. So next we're gonna follow all the instructions for A, for recirculating, non-vented ductless, and you go through A1 through A6. So A1, attach the mounting plate to the wall. So that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna use the toggle bolts for the holes I just marked in green, and then we'll stick a screw right into the stud. Let's go do it. I removed the template, and this is an important step. You wanna use the actual mounting plate to remark the holes, and of course use your level on the mounting plate, because the template is really hard to level being a piece of paper. I realized a pencil is marking the holes better than a Sharpie, so I used one instead. But I forgot to mark a line on the top of the mounting plate. Don't forget to do that. You'll see how I account for that. I next open up the included hardware packet and pull out the toggle bolts and pick my 1/2 inch drill bit. Now before I start drilling, I prep the area so no drywall dust gets behind the stove. I don't want to have to pull it out to clean behind there. I use a garbage bag taped to the wall with painter's tape. Now I just drilled the holes. A 1/2 inch drill bit is not quite large enough for the 3/16 toggle bolts 2 wings to fit through, so I ream out the hole to widen it. Next I get the 2 toggle bolts prepped and ready. Notice how I screw the bolt a little past the wings, and I insert them in the holes. I pull back on the plate as I screw the bolts in so the wings don't spin. But then right here I realize I forgot to mark the top of the bracket. Oops. So I just take a measurement from the top of the template to the top of the bracket, which was 14 3/8. I wish that was printed somewhere. And I transfer that measurement to the wall. This obviously wasn't hard to do, but if I would have just drawn that line on the top of the plate when I was using it to remark the drill holes, I would have not needed to perform this step. Also, if they would have provided a full mounting plate like my old Kenmore ad, I could have just hit the upper cabinet and tightened the toggle bolts. So now I can use my level while lining up the plate to those marked lines and tighten the toggle bolts 98% the rest of the way. I still want to double check my level so I don't drive them home just yet. Then I recheck my level and my measurement from the upper cabinet to the top of the plate. One final check for level and I tighten the bolt. Here's a shot of the level and how the bolt head is pressing the plate in slightly. That's how I like to leave it. Next, I pre-drill a hole on a slight angle because there's not a hole in the plate that lines up perfectly with my stud, but it's close enough on a slight angle, so I don't bother drilling a new hole in the plate. Then finally, I drive a lag bolt in the pre-drill hole right into the stud and give the toggle bolts one final check they are tight, and the mounting plate is installed. Now that we've attached the wall mounting plate, we need to prep the template for the top upper cabinet. So this upper template has to be modified a lot. You got to measure from the back wall to see which line you're going to cut on here, from the front, which line you're going to cut, and then of course the sides. So let me show you what I mean.
So this is hard to film, but you see the back cabinet is ½ inch thick.
The side is 1 inch. I should have measured here from this overhang, but you'll see soon this measurement doesn't matter. And then the front is 3/4. So we got a ½ inch for the back, so I'm going to circle that one. We have 1 inch for the sides, so I'm going to circle that one. 1 inch for the sides, and then 3/4 for the front. So now you'll see me make 4 cuts. I use the same method as before with the rear wall template. Now when I hang this template, you'll see why the measurement and cut that has to be correct or the holes will not line up is the one where the template is closest to the wall. The rest of the cuts just make it easier for me because I have a frame recessed cabinet bottom and you want the template to fit within the frame. So next I punched a hole to mark where I need to drill the hole for the power cord, but I forgot to punch out the 2 holes for the cabinet screws. You'll see how I have an easy fix for that. So next I will use some double-sided tape to attach this template. I can't really use push pins in the bottom of the cabinet. If I had time and one, I would have attached this template to a poster board because it's really hard to stick flimsy paper upside down. I next use my level to transfer the center line to the cabinet frame. Now comes the tricky part. I battle the template. If you don't have double-sided tape, just tape it into position with regular Scotch tape. This is not crazy hard to do, just don't give up until you feel it's right. Here's a shot how it should look. You can see my punch out for the power cord. Let me show you how I correct my miss, not punching out for the cabinet screws. This method is just fine too. I just drill the holes right through the template. No biggie, most people do it this way anyway. And then I use my Sharpie and mark the power cord hole. I next peel down the template. On it, you can see I need a 2-inch hole saw to cut out the power cord hole and a 3/8 diameter drill bit for the upper cabinet holes. So I grab that drill bit out of my case. Let's go drill the holes. I first drill a hole where I marked for the power cord. We will come back to that one. Then I drill out the first of the 2 upper cabinet holes with a 3/8 drill bit. You preferably want to drill down with your final diameter hole size because it leaves less damage inside the cabinet. Then I drill out the second hole. Next we will use the hole saw for the power cord hole. You're seeing now, by me first using a smaller diameter drill bit, I'm able to find exactly where I need to drill down. The other advantage besides less damage to the cabinet is that it's a little easier to drill down versus up. My hole saw was a little worn out, so it wasn't cutting that fast. I just work it in circular motions to give it a little help, and it finally punches through. I want to clean this up before we hang the microwave, so I give the upper cabinet a quick vacuum. Let's take a quick look at everything we just did.
I mean, it looks like I could have hit that other hole that was originally there from the other microwave. But I didn't want to take a chance, so I just moved it over.
Here's a shot how everything looks from under the upper cabinet after drilling up the holes.
So let's pray and hope it fits.
Seriously, pray.
I bring the microwave from the garage. We gotta do one last step before we hang it. So now we're on A3, check blower orientation. And if you remember, you gotta decide which way you need it to go. And then we have to change it to what ours is gonna be. So this looks like it's blowing up. So I gotta change the motor to go this way. Let me show you. So this is not hard. You take out these 2 screws and then pull this first blower plate out. Then this back cover plate pulls straight up. Then next you take out these 2 screws, which is actually what's securing the blower motor to the microwave. Now you want to be careful not to pull or stretch the blower unit's wiring as you lift it out. I carefully pulled it out of the channel that it runs in, lifted the blower out, tucked the wires back into the channel, then reinserted the blower motor with the fan blade openings facing the forward position for recirculation. Then I put the 2 screws back to secure the blower motor, and next I'll show you how to put all the cover plates back. So first you put this back cover plate and it slips straight down, and then you put back the blower plate, replacing the 2 screws that we took out when we removed it. So once you put the motor back down, you put all the 2 screws like I've done and these 2 screws. It comes with a second cover plate that you have to screw in. I'm going to do it now. This additional cover plate came in the packaging, so did the small black screw. And this plate looks just like this one, so don't forget to put this one. Now they say use 2 people, of course I'm not going to do that. You should definitely do that. And if filler blocks are not used, case damage may occur from over tightening the screws, so you got to make sure you don't over tighten them if you don't put a filler block, which I'm not going to do. And you're going to watch me now. You just lean the microwave on the bracket and tilt it up and put the last 2 screws. And then we got to do something with the charcoal filter at the end. Okay, I put the microwave on the moving blanket so it's ready for the lift. Then I feed the power cord through the 2-inch hole we drilled. Then I work my hand under the microwave, centering it so I can balance it, and lift slightly, testing my hand position. And then once I feel when I lift, the microwave is not trying to fall off my hand, I commence the lift. I aim the microwave as high as I can, lifting it to the upper cabinet, then I let it come down on the mounting plate. I pull on the power cord, taking up the slack. And then I place my under the microwave support into position. Now I can let the microwave sit on the support while I take a look to verify that the mounting plate tabs are locked into the microwave slots. I'll show you a shot soon how it should look. Okay, next we just need to push and lean the microwave to the cabinet as we screw in the self-aligning screws. I start the screws by hand, but because I didn't use filler block, I don't want to use my drill to screw these in. So I screw them by hand with my Phillips screwdriver so I can feel it. Now I just get the second screw in. So what do you guys think? A DIY project you would try? The most challenging part is not screwing up the templates, and maybe the lift of the microwave to the mounting plate if you've never done that before. Now take note, I like to add a washer. These are not included in the hardware packet. Washers are even more important if you didn't add a filler block. Here's the shot of the mounting plate tabs going into the microwave slots. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if I didn't put an eye in this, ensuring it's locked in properly. So make sure you look right after mounting. Okay guys, as you watch me pull the protective wrapping, we're getting to the end. Don't leave yet because we still gotta install the charcoal and grease filters. And then we're going to cook some microwave popcorn to test the sensor cooking. I install the new turntable ring and glass plate and peel the last piece over the GE branding. Looking good, let's install the filters. Install grease filters. They just go right under here. So these grease filters just slide in, then you pull them towards you until they snap in. Make sure the little handle is facing down. Don't forget to periodically clean them. So there's a charcoal filter in here if you're going to vent back into the room. So it says open microwave door, which I have it open. It says there's 2 screws, but I only can find one. You take out the screw. This slides this way, and you can take this out. Then the charcoal filter's all the way in there. So that doesn't seem right. It must have got shifted during shipping. I would think that this is the backstop to that. It would go on top of this and under the lip that's here. This stops it and this stops it. So something like in like that. Let me know in the comments if that's the right way to put that, but that's the way I would put it. See how there's only 1 screw? Well, they said 2, but I only can see where there's 1, and these are the locking. Nothing on the bottom. That just slides like that, and then you put the 1 screw back. Don't crank down on this little screw. It's just there for locking in the grill. You can see the charcoal filter in there, and all the air gets vented up this way. And all that's left to see if we blow up. You can tuck the excess cord back into the hole. Light turned on. Let's try to cook something. I think a good test for a microwave is cooking popcorn. Let's test the sensor cooking. I've never been able to, or trusted, clicking on the popcorn button on a microwave. Have you? Okay, let's see what happens. I want to thank you because you stayed to the end. Please remember to hit the thumbs up if you like this video, and be sure to subscribe to watch more home DIY videos just like this one. Put any questions in the comments and maybe I can help you with your project. As you can see, I believe the sensor started a timer at 1 minute once it determined that's the time it needed to finish. Okay, let's see if we have any burnt popcorn. I dump it in a bowl and hey guys, this is looking great. I don't see any burnt popcorn and almost all the kernels cooked. Time for a movie. So that's it guys, there was no way I was going to pay $129 as a DIYer. Also another $50 because I don't want to take the time to go throw away my old microwave myself. Guys, that's a savings of $179. Nope, I always click, I will install it myself. Click on any of these links on the screen to check out my other home DIY videos. Or explore my YouTube channel, I might have just the video you're looking for your next home DIY project. Also, don't forget to let me know if this mismatch and finish looks okay or not. Thanks again for watching. Bye everyone.